by saying this. So far, we've seen a switch in the tone of the conversation, number one.
I'm speaking passion.
And
I still love you. I'll take you to lunch.
Wisdom, in my opinion, dictates a spirit of discipline, number one. See, I've never lost my spirit in our discourse thus far. I'm keeping my calm, I'm keeping my cool, because at the end of the day, I understand perfectly that I'm sitting in a room full of brothers. And we are both sharing our understanding of truth. Whether we may be correct or not, there is a certain level of respect in our tonage that we show to one another, number one. So I just want to point that out. Number two, you looked at Proverbs chapter 8 and you began at verse 22. There's a problem with that. Verse 22 clearly isn't the beginning of the chapter. It starts at verse 1. So to put it in context and not pretext, because context void of subtext is pretext. So to put it into context, we're going to start with the first verse. So the first verse of Proverbs chapter 8, verse 1 says, "Does not wisdom call out, and understanding put forth her voice? She," in reference to wisdom, "stands at the top of the high places by the way where the paths meet. She cries at the gates of the city. To you, O men, do I call, that my voice may be heard by the sons of man. O ye simple ones, understand wisdom." Again, wisdom speaking. "And you fools, be ye of an understanding heart. Hear, for I will speak excellent things, opening the lips of the right ones. They are plain to him who understands, and right to him who has discernment." Verse 12. "I," again, wisdom, "dwell with prudence, and find knowledge and discretion." So far what we've encountered is, number one, the subject, the I, is wisdom.
Okay.
So let me finish now, because we're going to come to 22 and make it make sense.
Okay.
"Before the mountains were settled, before the hills, before he had made the heavens, I was there. When he drew a circle on the face of the deep, when he established the clouds, the waters, when he gave to the sea his decree that the waters should not pass, his commandment, when he appointed the foundation of the earth. Then I, wisdom, was like him as a child." What I'm making very clear to you based on the context of the text is that we're dealing with an anthropomorphic conversation where the spirit of wisdom is spoken of from a feminine aspect, number one, which when you get into language concepts and you talk about wisdom, understanding, and knowledge, you want to understand that you're talking about feminine principles. That's just number one. So that's why it begins by addressing by she and her. And as clearly evidenced, wisdom is the subject, which I asked you earlier. Wisdom is the subject. And verse 22 says, "I was brought forth before anything was ever made." Now here's the deal breaker on this. This is a Hebrew text, correct? Okay. In the Hebrew language, the word for wisdom is chakma, which literally means the power to question. It's a compound word. The first part, kawak, means strength, and ma means what, or a question. So what is the idea? It's the same idea that we learn in philosophy. What do philosophers do all day, every day, which brings them to a point of discernment? They question things. So the word for wisdom in Hebrew comes from the idea that we question things to gain wisdom. So, context, void of subtext, which is the inner meaning, leads to pretext, which is the misunderstanding and the miscommunication. So, if wisdom, as the Hebrew text literally says, I'm not embellishing, I'm not adding, we saw that that's what it said. We have to understand the Hebrew word. Every single Hebrew letter has what's called a numerical equivalent in the Hebrew language. The Hebrew word for wisdom is composed of the letter chet, which is spelled in Hebrew chet yod taf, which has a numerical equivalent of 418. The next letter, my brother, is kaf, as in chakma, kaf. Kaf and pei are numerically equivalent to 100. So far we have 418 and 100, that's 518. The next letter is mem, which is numerically equivalent to mem yod mem, 90. 40, 10, 40, which is 90. So we have 418, 100, and 90. The last letter is the letter hey, which is 5. When you take 418 and you add it with 100, which becomes 518, and you add it with 90, and you add it with the 5, it becomes 613. The number of laws in the Torah. There are 613 laws that God gave to Moses on Mount Sinai, not 10 commandments. 613.
You're way off now.
I did not cut you off.
Okay, go ahead. Are there timings on our rebuttals? Are there timings? Because we could just sit here and go on
I
and
never
on.
cut you off. So allow me to bring it into context.
All right.
The Hebrew word for wisdom in itself, in its subtext, the inner meaning, conveys that it represents all of the laws of the Torah, which are a sum total of 613, which is why I tried to tell you, in understanding the Hebrew text, it will convey more information as opposed to looking at it from the outside and falling into the trap of pretext.
Okay.
From the Hebrew perspective, this is talking about the laws of the universe which predate the universe itself, i.e. from the Hebrew perspective, the Torah.
Okay.
Atomically, Socrates' philosophies and hypotheses can't define how I be dropping these mockeries. Lyrically perform armed robbery, flee with the lottery. Possibly they spotted me. Battle scarred shogun, explosion when my pen hits tremendous. Ultraviolet shine blind forensics.